So now you over there at LaFace with Usher, TLC, Cass, and everybody. Can you break down what exactly is artist development and why it was an essential part of the industry at that time?
I mean, when you think about the actual music, a lot of times artists don't understand that image, the actual content, creating the image, the actual videos, the actual knowing how to package and actually present yourself in a manner where it's marketable. And that's what we were able to do. And you've seen it, we just took a page out of Barry Gordy's book. So it was, you seen Motown, and then you seen LaFace, and then we turned around and did the same thing with Bad Boy. So all of those are artist development driven companies. And like even right now today, I'm doing that now with 300.
That's crazy. So basically everything that stands the test of time, Devyne's face pops up somewhere in there. That's what I'm getting out of this conversation. And I'm loving it. When you meet people and you see those artists and they're just those diamonds in the rough, how many of them were actually diamonds in the rough and how many of them were just rough? You feel me?
Man, well, put it like this. Every now and then you find the very, very special ones that kind of like got it all. It's kind of like, you know, Chicago Bulls. It's only one Michael Jordan. You know, so every now and then you find that special one. And a lot of times they all come in rough. They all come in rough, not really knowing, but having ideas. And some have no ideas and you have to kind of like just create around them. But for the most part, the ones that work hard and the ones that listen is the ones that actually win and have more longevity.
Usher, a young man. What was it like when you saw that teenager coming in there? And did you think he was gonna go on to be a megastar in his own right?
Yeah, I knew right away. My God. Yeah, I knew right away when I met him, his charisma, his energy, his willing to learn, his willing to pay attention, and the way he studies. Right then and there, I knew he had everything it would take. I just knew that, you know, it was a 6-year period. I mean, you got to think, he worked on his first album. The first album wasn't successful. Then he ended up getting with a couple other producers after that, and that album wasn't successful either. So it was pretty much like the third album when he got with JD, that it started kind of coming together for him. So imagine those 6 years in that time span.
Looking crazy.
Me and him spending time together during that course of period. And my man was, you know, he was very disgruntled. He was unhappy with the music business, but he pressed through and he worked through it. And that was the key.
TLC, another iconic group. Man. Working with those 3 young ladies right there. I mean, what was that like?
Well, that right there, man, that was special because I watched Pebbles just kind of like strategically place them, and she put the artist development around them. And then, you know, when she handed off to me, only thing I have to really do at that point is, you know, a lot of the staging and videos and live performances is, you know, is where I came in at, but she really put her whole touch on that.
When you speak of live performances, I saw some stuff on Instagram floating around the other day, and the live performance was terrible from some artists out here.
Yeah, man.
Can you talk to me about how that live performance actually transcends into selling records and also just publicity for that artist as well? People want to see you perform just because they know about your stage presence before they even get there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, a lot of times you have to sell the record. And when your presentation is not up to par, that doesn't equal to more sales. You know, and doesn't equal to longevity, because what happens a lot of times, you'll see a hit record is bigger than the artist. And when that hit record go away, so does the artist. So my point is, it's kind of like, you know, you have to work both along the way, and the ones that's actually putting the work in and doing the artist development are the ones that's having longevity and having a sustainable career in the music business.
Okay, so now we're talking about LaFace, but then you also work with Bad Boy as well.
Yeah.
Now, LaFace, with them being Atlanta-based, I know that was, and pretty much everybody you done grew up with on the damn label.
Right.
What was that like dealing with these folks from New York, being a Georgia boy?
Hey man, that was weird because when I started dealing with Puff, when I first started, it was weird because how me and him met.
Yeah.
You know, we actually met at Club 112, and I was upstairs with a couple of my guys, from the hood, and my man Kevin Wells, who we also grew up with, who started ABC in 112. He came up the steps and he was like, "Yo, man, my man in New York, he from New York downstairs, getting into an altercation." So we like, okay, all right, boom. So we jumped up, this that 25, that 20 something, that age. And we jumped up like, oh, well, where's that? So we go down and immediately my man said, right there. And he pointed at Puff, but at this time I don't know Puff. Yeah. He pointed at him and the only thing you heard was glass breaking. Clang, clang. Because now we getting ready, whoever Puff arguing with, we getting ready to go in, right? Yeah. And Puff like, whoa, wait a minute. You okay? Who's these guys? You okay? Wait a minute. And so I said, and he was like, hold on. He was like, yo, man, nah, we ain't doing that in here. We ain't doing that in here. I was like, oh, okay. I thought you had some issues. You had some. So the bouncers came, took the other guy out, and then Kay said, yo, this is my man, Devyne. I've been trying to tell you about him that you need to meet. Yeah. And Puff was like, oh, word? Kevin Wells said to me, he said, yo, man, hey, Puff, I want you to meet Devyne, AKA Big Dog. Yeah. This is my street name. Yes, exactly. So, and then Puff said, oh, okay, all right. So, let's set up something. So, I think I was getting ready to drop that Biggie in 112. And he called like 4:00 in the morning, was like, yo, what you up to? Puff called 4 in the morning. And I was like, chilling. He said, yo, check this out. He gave me some New York spiel, like, yo, money, this shit about to be so crazy. I'm telling you right now, you want to get on a plane, you want to do this thing with Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy is going to be crazy. So I was like, okay. So I woke up. He said, I'm sending you a plane ticket right now. So I think probably about 8 o'clock, I hopped on the plane, flew to New York. When I got there, I went straight to the studio. He said, drop him off at Bad Boys. Yeah. So I get there, he's still up. He was still up. Man, he was up from the night before. What? So he was still going, and then when I got there and I felt the energy, and I was like, I think I was going there to check in a hotel or something. Yeah. My man was going there. He gave me the dream, the whole nine, and I was like, okay, I bought in. Yeah. And then, meanwhile, while that was taking off, so ended up working with Biggie and doing the 112. Meanwhile, back home at the ranch in the ATL, my brother, my baby brother, Rico Wade from Organized Noise. Yes, sir. They was a little heated at me, man. They was like, yo, how you gonna take the ATL vibe and give it to Puff? Like, how you gonna do that? So they was so mad at me. Outkast stopped hiring me for work. What? Yeah, it was a big deal, man. They was really upset about that. But the cool thing about it, man, was Puff was always welcome in Atlanta. So I thought it was a cool thing because L.A. Reid helped Puffy get his deal at Arista. So I'm thinking it's all family. I didn't know it was a issue, but we fixed that.
What's so crazy about what you're saying, man, is as an Atlanta consumer and fan, a lot of times you would hear music from New York, especially during that time, that would have a difficult time transitioning to the average guy in Atlanta. Yeah. But for some reason, That Bad Boy transition real smooth, sir.
Man, yeah.
And that's what makes me laugh when I think about you being behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, somebody knows what I like.
Yeah.
And it's making sure that I'm receiving that from Biggie and from 112 and stuff like that. So that's a beautiful thing. But I need you to go deeper to what was going on with you and Organized Noise at that time. Being that y'all came up together and then folks was pissed that you had to go and do you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a family. So when you move outside of the family, I guess, and you trying to expand, you know, because even when I was artist, I was trying to even get records from cats from Atlanta. Couldn't really get records because you know it was always a struggle. So I always felt like, you know, I needed to expand anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because I already had been doing Atlanta probably way before they even emerged, even before any even got record deals, even before you know, they even got put on. You gotta think early on, Rico introduced me to Outkast. They showcased for me at the beauty supply store on Headland and Delow. So, but when they was rapping, you know, they was rapping real fast and they sound like DOS effects. So I was like, nah, Rico, I don't know if that's, you know. So they sound like New York. Damn. But, you know, had a conversation, you know, we talked about, you know, having that Southern slang or whatever. And then Rico switched it up and man, the rest is history.